What's up, guys?
Hello, Aljo. Thank you, first of all, for coming back to talk to us. I know it can't necessarily be easy. You've had a few minutes now to think about it. Just talk us through the emotions right now. Losing the belt, losing it to a guy like Sean OMalley. How are you feeling and how do you think the fight went?
It definitely sucks. I mean, I'm not going to lie about that. There was a lot coming into this fight. You know, the quick turnaround, everything. But I was happy to do it. No excuses. Sean, hey, he did a good job of the one thing I knew he would be good at, and is that step back counter. And, yeah, it's just a good shot, man. I felt like I saw something else. I stepped in. He capitalized on the one mistake that I made, and I paid for it. I mean, I felt like the fight could have still kept going, to be honest. I rolled over to try to come back up, and as soon as he stepped in, I was fine, but it was just one of those things. Can't be mad at the ref. It is what it is, man. Losing sucks. It always does, especially losing to him. But honestly, he's a good fighter, man. A lot of the things that I said coming into this fight, I said I respect his skills. I know what he's good at. I know what my strengths are, and he was able to capitalize on that tonight. And I've been here before, man. I mean, a lot worse, though, with Marlon Moraes, and I was able to bounce back and put together a pretty good streak to even get the belt, you know? So it's just one of those things. Life goes on, and it's whatever you decide to make of it, you know? It's just one of those things, and I'm going to remember this night for a very long time, and it's going to fuel me for just bigger and greater things.
Yeah, you mentioned, that he caught you with the one thing, and you were very good at giving him credit before this fight, probably even more than some of the onlookers and pundits and stuff. Was he in there, was he as good as you were expecting, or in ways was he a little bit better than you were expecting? Was he doing things that you're like, oh, he's better at that range than I thought, or anything like that?
He was better than what I thought in his footwork. And that was one of the things I try to get guys to emulate, because I knew that is a hard thing to do, because I do it myself when I go side to side. But it's different when someone else is doing it to you and you're like, I can't track this motherfucker down. I tracked him down a couple of times, but then he would spin out at the last second when I think I threw a side kick and he was able to pivot out beautifully. He did a couple of things really, really well. I mean, I would have liked to have gotten it down to the ground to really see how good he is down there. But like I said, the one thing I knew, we were doing a good job of throwing that overhand right into the takedown. He threw the front kick, and right after I was like, okay, I think I got his timing. I threw the left hand, and as I was coming down, he stepped back. He hit a beautiful counter right, and it was a counter right. I think it was a counter right, and it was clean, man. It was clean, and I knew I was okay, but it was one of those things. You're rolling around on the ground. The ref doesn't really know how bad you're really hurt. I know the ref hasn't really seen me in that position before, so it's kind of hard to kind of give the benefit of the doubt. Definitely think it could have gone a little bit more. But, yeah, credit where credit is due, man. Sean did a great job. He stayed disciplined, man. I didn't want the fight to be boring. I could have sat on the outside and just kept playing the leg kick game. But then I would have had all the criticisms of everybody else. And I was like, see, this is the difference. He stayed disciplined to his game plan. And I kind of let, I don't want to say emotions, but I kind of let trying to be a little bit more of an exciting style for the fans play a factor. You know, we've seen the Izzy Yoel Romero fight. We've seen bad fights before where it's kind of like not much happens because no one wants to make that grave mistake. I made the mistake. Sean capitalized. I paid for it.
You mentioned there that you felt the fight could have kept going because the referee didn't know how hurt you were or weren't hurt. How hurt were you after the right hand?
I thought it was fine. I mean, as soon as it rolled over, he came over to me. I was like, dude, I'm good. I mean, they asked me a question. I forgot what state we were fighting in. I will say that. That wasn't like, oh, he hit me so hard. I forgot. I was like, I legitimately just forgot where we were. And,
where did you think we were?
I was like, we're not in Vegas. It was like coming to Boston, but not really one of those places that we really fight at often. So I was like, I know we're not in Vegas, but I didn't want to give him an answer. And then he's going to be like, oh, no, you were fucked up, bro. You were really fucked. And then he asked me what year is it. I was like, 2023, bro. I was like, I'm telling you, I'm fine. I just really don't remember that we came to Massachusetts because it's not a state that you say all the time. But whatever, yeah.
What's next for you, Aljo? You said in the cage very thoughtfully that, look, if he's catching me like that, 45ers could do some damage too. You want to go home and reflect. I'm sure you're not able to give an answer tonight. But when you look at this, and like you said, you came from the Rise lockout to come back and win a title. I'm sure that's the motivation to do so again. But do you do that at 35 or do you do it at 45?
That's one of the things we gotta talk about. I mean, I would love to have a rematch. I just feel like even that first round, like, what did you guys think? What did you guys score that first round?
I thought it was very close.
I thought it was very close too, but I didn't know which way it was going towards. I mean, I know I landed a bunch of leg kicks. He landed a one cross to the body, and I got him on the cage at the end. I think I landed like 3 punches to the face maybe, and that was like the round. It wasn't very eventful, but I felt like we were both trying to establish our rhythm and our range. So I wasn't sure like which way the fight was really going into that second round.
I would agree. I think it was one of those rounds that they were going to score it either way, you know.
Yeah, so I don't know. I would like to see what the judges scored it. That would be interesting. But yeah, I don't know which way I'm going to go with things. Like I said, I would first and foremost love an opportunity to run that back and just to get some definitive answers. And maybe I could do, I don't want to say a better job because I feel like the guys I trained with were phenomenal, but maybe make it more intentful to have guys that are giving me that look going side to side. So I do a better job of preparing for that, because that ultimately was the one thing I was concerned with. And it was the one thing that he did a great job with, neutralizing my forward pressure, where I was like, you know what, let's play Matador. And I was trying to lull him in so that I could spin him to the cage, but he didn't really play the game. So it's just one of those things, a couple of tactical things I think I need to look at. And I think it's a very winnable fight. I think he's good at what he does. I'm good at what I do.
So, Aljo, would you say an immediate rematch is what you would like the most?
That is 100% what I would like the most. And it's not saying like Sean doesn't deserve to beat me. Like, he could go out there and beat me again. And I think it just strengthens his case that he's as good as he says he is. But I think I've earned, I would like to think that I've earned my right to get an immediate rematch.
Yeah. And if you can clarify to people, because everybody says, oh, you know, he's huge for bantamweight, and obviously you are, but how hard are these weight cuts? Like, can you continue to fight at 135, no problem? I mean, you've made championship weight all the time, so.
I mean, I could. Do I really want to? Not really. I wish we would just do, like, cage-side weigh-ins, like, an hour or 30 minutes before, because guys won't cut the weight that we cut. It just would be impossible. And I think you would start seeing more people fighting up 2 weight classes. I truly do believe that. The same thing like wrestling and jiu-jitsu tournaments. You just can't compete when you're getting hit in the head, like severely dehydrated. It just wouldn't happen. I think guys would be smart enough to not do such a crazy thing. But I can still make the weight. It's just a lot harder, and it's a longer duration of dragging out that weight cut and trying to shrink incrementally all the way until fight week, until I step on the scale.
And you had been very open about the August 19th day being a concern, that you didn't know if your body was going to be ready. You told us at media day that you felt 100%, but that's obviously pre-fight. Now that it's, you know, done, did you enter the fight 100%? Did the immediate or did the quick turnaround affect your performance, you think, in any way?
I'm not gonna do that to Sean. I'm not TJ. I'm not gonna do that. I felt like I had a pretty damn good training camp. I think it's just the one thing that we probably left. I thought we left no stones unturned. That was the one thing we left unturned, was the footwork. But we thought we did a good job of it, but we didn't really simulate it as well as I thought we did. And you know, I felt good. I'll leave it at that. I felt good. No excuses, man. I truly did feel like it was my night, and I made one mistake, and I paid for it.
Thank you.
Aljo in the front right here. All 3 judges actually had you winning the first round 10-9.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice to actually win a close round. I feel like whenever it's a close round, I don't get it. Like, I don't get the round scored for me. But that's cool to hear, because it makes me feel like the work we were doing in the first round, now it actually, like, it gives me a little bit more clarity going forward, so that I know what type of tactical approach I want to take. Because Sean is not a guy you can fight just going forward, because he won't give you the opportunity to just sit and set his feet. He doesn't do that. And that is one of the things I've been saying about him for a very long time. He has really good footwork, and he has a really good 1-2, and a good step-back counter. And he does it well from both stances. Me, I take you down. I think it's relatively known what I do on the ground. So he was able to implement his game plan and cause me to make the mistake. And congrats to him. He's a world champion now. He can actually solidify. I don't want to say solidify himself, but he can actually credit where credit is due. You know, it's one thing to kind of get catapulted into that without actually proving yourself, but he proved it tonight, and he did something that a lot of guys couldn't have done to me in a very long time, and I think that's worth something to note.
Kind of going off of that, a lot of the narrative after media day was, or your last few media days, is you were one of the few champions that says, like, I could lose, because a lot of these champions, they come in confident, they say, well, I'm going to beat this guy and then move on to this, but you've always been like, I might lose, like Sean might become a superstar after he fights me. So why has that always been your mindset, and why do you think other champions kind of don't carry that same mindset?
I don't know. I don't know what makes them tick. I know for me, if you keep it real with yourself, and I think it helps you make the dangers a little bit more real when you actually face reality that you can actually lose. When you go in there, it's a fist fight, man. It's not, we're sparring with shin pads on, bigger gloves, 16 ounces, headgear. No. This is shin bone on forearms, on your legs, the side of your head, 4-ounce gloves, pretty much bare knuckle, as close to bare knuckle as it gets, It's a tough sport. So to pretend that you are this invincible thing, I think is a little bit of a disservice. I think it helps me stay humble, and it helps me work harder, because I know there's always that possibility that this guy can have his night. And like I said, I was like, it has to be a cold night in Boston for this man to beat me, and that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. It's been a cold week, this entire week out here in Boston. That should have been the foreshadowing right there. Like, hey, man, something's up. Let's try to tighten some things up before we step into that octagon. But I think it's just a good mindset to have going in, that there is a possibility you could lose, but how can you make sure you line everything up and give yourself the best opportunity to win?
Last one for me. They cut to you during Chris's fight. They would show you in the back. Was it hard watching that fight?
Not hard. I mean, the hard part was obviously his leg and seeing him get kicked to the leg over and over. Like, that was the hard part, because I'm just thinking about health after he's done fighting. And it's always tough to see stuff like that. And I know Brad, because I trained down there at Extreme Couture. He's a cool dude. And I'm just glad both those guys came out as healthy as they possibly could. And hopefully Chris's legs aren't as severely beat up as it looked, because that's unfortunate. I think the guy's had like 25 or 26 surgeries, bro, and that's a lot. So hopefully he has a speedy recovery, and that's my guy, man. He's always been Captain America to me, someone I always looked up to. He just felt like he was always invincible, doing things that were unthinkable, and made it all possible. Like, to see him doing that, kind of around my age group, not really, but kind of.
Aljamain, up to your right. Speaking of your teammates and your coach Ray and Al and Marab, I mean, what you put together in this title run was spectacular. I know it's hard to process that now after a loss, but I mean, it was cementing yourself as one of the best bantamweights in UFC history, and it was really the title run that put you on another level. In terms of your team, I mean, you must be very proud of what you guys have accomplished. Obviously, you're not done yet, but what you've accomplished so far.
Definitely proud of everything, man. Glass half full. Like, I get choked up when I talk about this. Like, I don't come from the best household, so just being able to find inspiration in other people and kind of carving out your own path. That's the one thing I love about the sport. It's allowed me to do things my way, and man, life is good. I got my family. I got my beautiful fiance. I don't want to cry on the fucking camera, man. It's the things that matter the most in life. The competition is okay, but this has really helped change my life. Like, I know the UFC gets a lot of shit from like the fighters and stuff, but if it wasn't for them, man, I wouldn't have the life that I live today. And I told Dana that even at the weigh-ins yesterday, and Hunter, like, if it wasn't for them, like, half the things I've done in this sport wouldn't be possible. And the things I've been able to do for my family, bought my mom a house, doing a little real estate. I own 3 houses now. I'm set in terms of financial means. This is just icing on the cake. And I took a shot. I took a shot trying to come back and trying to do something unthinkable and making a dream into a reality. And I fell short, but it happens. So I'm super proud of everything I've done. No one can, I'm bulletproof, man. No one can shake me mentally. No one but myself. So that's one of the things I would never get down on myself about. I've truly earned everything I've gotten, and that's the most important. And I just wish people would take other people's journeys and I played the heel and everything. It's all a game to me. I like having fun. It's a good time. I'm from Long Island. We break balls. We like to just have a good laugh. But at the end of the day, chase your dreams, man, because life is short. I'm 34 now. I started this game when I was 20 years old. I thought I was going to be the next youngest champion. Next to John Jones, came up short. And what a ride it's been. And knowing that door is going to close one day, it scares me a little bit, So I just try to make the most of every single opportunity I can.
Aljamain, over here. Over here. So can you see the positive?
Cut the onions.
You're okay, man. We all love you. Can you see the positives as far as what you have done as far as your championship reign? You fought top-tier talent. You broke box office records. You did amazing things. Can we see the positives as far as your championship reign, as far as everything you have done so far?
Yeah, I'm a glass half full kind of guy. I mean, even in this, I think most people would probably be really down on himself, especially you lose to a guy like that who freaking 6'9" tattoos and shit like that. You're just like, how the hell? But glass half full, man. Life is good. It could always be worse. There's someone out there who's complaining about things that I have that they don't have. And I think that helps me keep things in perspective, that someone else out there always has it worse than we do. And I think that's the fortunate thing. You guys are all in here doing something that you enjoy doing, I hope. And being able to go to events and watch great shows like this, it's nothing short of a privilege that we have in this country. So I'm super proud of everything I've accomplished, everything I've done, and I do hope to add a little bit more to my. I hate using the word legacy because it's such a weird term. I feel weird saying it out loud, but just more to my resume and everything I've accomplished in the sport. I'm grateful. I'm down right now, but it's not down to the point where I'm going to be hiding from fans and shit like that. I don't care about that. People's words can't hurt me. The only thing that can hurt me is the ones that are closest to me, and that's my loved ones, So at the end of the day, dust myself off, get back on the horse. I've done it before, and just go again.
You train under the mighty Ray Longo, Matt Serra, and you have teammates like Angry Al and also Marab.
Angry Al.
Yeah, Angry Al. What advice did they give you? Because they've been through the process, obviously, and they had the highest of highs, lowest of lows. What advice did they give you, especially after this?
Well, we haven't really. I don't think we really actually talked like that yet. Just it's the fight game. You get caught. And I don't want to say I got caught because I feel like that's kind of taken away from Sean. He studied. He did what he planned to do if I gave him that opening, and he took it. So it's not really getting caught. He landed a great place shot, and, I made a mistake, and he capitalized on it. I think that's just the game we play. It's a game of inches. I could have gotten to the leg, and that could have changed things. And maybe it's him in here on the sadder side of things, So it's all just keeping in perspective. We've all been here before. We felt what it felt like to lose, to be knocked out, to be finished in front of millions. It ain't easy, man, putting your heart on the sleeve for the world to watch and judge and criticize. But this is the game we play. This is the game I love. And I'll be glad to come out here and do it again.
Good, man. Thank you.
Right here. Just one quick question for you. You come into Boston, New Yorker coming to Boston is never going to be popular. Add in that you're fighting an Irish guy in a really popular Irish neighborhood. Does the crowd ever get to you? I know you say, you like to play the heel, but, you're still a human. When most of the crowd is cheering for him. Does that get to you a little bit?
Nah, I mean, I think it makes it fun. There's a good guy and a bad guy. I don't know why I'm the bad guy, but I'm the bad guy. So it's like you just embrace it, have fun with it. I mean, it's kind of like a WWE kind of thing. I think we've all kind of grew up watching that. There's always someone you love to cheer for, someone you love to hate, and I think that's what makes it fun. I don't really look too much into that. I use the booze to kind of fuel me, you know? And God, I could have made that a boring fight and it just wouldn't, I probably wouldn't be here right now. But it is what it is. Yeah. No, it's a short answer. No, the booze they don't bother me. If anything, it's I'm glad the crowd actually has a reaction. And it's different when they see me in the street. Oh, we love you. And then when I walk out to the arena, it's boo. This man sucks. And I enjoy it. I embrace the moment. At the end of the day, one day there's no one going to be booing. There's no one going to be cheering. It'll just be me, hopefully cheering for my kids on the sideline, being a happy dad. You know. So I think that's what life's all about, man. Just taking the time out to smell the roses, and I'm definitely going to be sure to do that after this tough training camp, back-to-back, and take some much-needed vacation time with my fiance. She's done with nursing school, and we both just moved to Vegas. I think it's time we go hang out, go celebrate with some Funk Harbor tonight. It's not really a celebration, but, you know, just other accomplishments. And I'll be in Sydney, Australia, to go watch the fights. Just be able to kick my feet back, unwind a little bit, and be like you guys, just hang out, watch fights, talk a little shit, and drink a couple adult beverages. Thank you, guys.